Welcome. Here I am back again. I bet you thought, hell, you can't talk anymore. Oh, yeah, I can. Anyway, this is about young guys, young men, right? And I mean young men, right? I'll just tell you quickly about when I was a young man, what was expected of us then. And that was that we were supposed to, leave school or whatever, get a job, a trade, find a girlfriend, get engaged, get married, buy a house, have a child, probably a station wagon and a poodle or something like that. That was the way it was expected of us, right? And that's, what a lot of men did. And I didn't, but a lot of men did that. And if you didn't, if you got a little bit older, not too much older, but a little bit older, and you weren't married or engaged, you were classed as a bit of there must be something wrong with you. Obviously women don't like you, there's something wrong with you. That was the feeling in those days, when I was very young in that. It did change, but yeah. So I was mostly a bachelor. I did marry once, and it didn't last very long, about a year, I think. Yeah, I tried it didn't work. But you were classed as a bit of a misfit. So that was the way the society was pushing it, right? And later on it got better. It's much better now because people have got it out in the open now about things. But young men, in my day, were men, and we had a good time. We respected women, but we treated them as no more equal than we were, and that's the way it was, right? We didn't treat them anything real special. They were ladies, of course, in our minds, but we just had fun, right? So now take a look at the next generation of men, which was my niece married a young man, and that was lucky. Could have married a woman. Well, it's legal now, isn't it? But anyway, she married a young man, and I noticed that his generation of men were sort of more in touch with their feelings, if you know what I mean. I don't mean that way, but they were more trained, as if they were more in tune to be able to do the woman's needs for her better. Like these are the guys that go into the labour room with the woman, even though the labour room is really a woman's place. It's not for men in there, really, I don't think, especially not the husband or the boyfriend or whatever, because she only yells and screams at him because she hates him at that time. So he may as well stay in the labour room where he's not going to cause any hassle for her and just walk up and down like they normally do. And there's loads of people in the labour room anyway to take care of what's going on. So I don't believe the man should be in there, really, but these men think that, you should be in touch with that, and you think, oh my God, and then you should be more involved with the baby rearing and that. I mean, what are they going to get guys to breastfeed as well next? I mean, really. So yeah, that's that generation, right? But the new generation of men now that I see, they seem more screwed up than ever. Right? They don't know how to be a man, I don't think. And I think it's because at school they've been told not to be masculine. Masculine is toxic. Masculinity is bad. And don't be boisterous. Don't be this. And they've sort of, turned them into, I don't know what they are. And I don't think they know what they are. I mean, they don't seem to have a lot of common sense either, because that's why there's so many rules and regulations in the health and safety industry now that you look at and you go, well, that's common sense, surely. But it isn't to them, to a lot of them, apparently. Fire is hot. And that's obvious, but not so much to them, I don't think. And I think it's because they're so screwed up. Their body and brain is saying one thing and they've been told to act in another. So they don't really know what's going on, right? And they don't feel natural, right? And they seem to be always spouting these narratives that they've obviously been taught and thinking it's going to make a difference to me. And I tell them to stop trying to preach to me, because I'm old enough to be your father, so just get on with your work, right? Actually, they're not bad lads, right, really, but they're just a bit screwed up. And that is a shame. And I bet you there's a lot of guys out there the same sort of boat. And I think it's getting worse now. It's getting even more worse now, because they're badgering men at school when they're really young, to trying to change him into some kind of the only thing I can is a neutered male as such, so that obviously this male, when it grows up, won't cause any trouble for them, and he will be a very good slave to them as such, and he won't cause any problems. Whereas the male with the masculinity and all that might be a bit boisterous and go, just a minute, and all that. I don't think that's what's going on, really. They're neutering, mentally neutering males at school, and that's a shame, right? So am I about right about that, or is it am I completely wrong? Because I've got to be honest with you, I haven't been to school for just a couple of years, you know what I mean? Let me know what you think.